Right now, there's an undeniable tension in the air, a growing urgency among those who once believed they understood your path. In the shadows, a secret reading took place, with cards laid out to unveil mysteries about your destiny. What was revealed shook them deeply, shattering their previous assumptions about who you truly are. You may be feeling the weight of suspicion, whispers, or silent glances, but listen closely. You are chosen by God, a rare force beyond the grasp of human predictions. Stay with me through this message, and I promise you'll uncover the truth behind why this revelation has stirred such a frenzy, and how it positions you for a powerful new beginning. In return, take two simple actions, like this: subscribe if you haven't already, and comment 77 below as a sign to the universe that you're open. Then once the shift resonates in your spirit, return and comment again, ready for what's ahead. Because that's exactly where we're heading, a season of unstoppable transformation that no card reading can fully contain. Chapter 1. You've crossed lines that challenge your calling. Lately, you've noticed the way people look at you, their eyes filled with something unspoken, as if they're seeing what they can't quite comprehend. It's as if the revelations from that secret reading have made their way through whispers, altering how they approach you. There may be an unease settling within you, a sense that you've strayed too far from the familiar. Perhaps you shared too much, let your guard slip, or allowed a glimpse of your untamed power to show. The murmurs you hear now, about you being too intense, too wise, too different, are the direct result of illusions breaking apart around you. You've always sensed these invisible boundaries, limits imposed by systems, families, and institutions that sought to confine your potential. But in quiet defiance, you step beyond them, not always in grand, visible ways, but through subtle shifts in your mind and spirit. You question the stories they fed you, reading between the lines of the narratives they tried to carve into your soul. That quiet, unrelenting curiosity led you to truth after truth, many of which you guarded closely, uncertain of how the world would respond. You've crossed boundaries that challenge your calling, not out of recklessness, but because you were starved for something real. When you saw gaps in the story they told you about your life, you had to fill them. That hunger pushed you into places they labeled forbidden, arcane knowledge, spiritual depths, unorthodox ideas. Even if you weren't dabbling in anything overtly controversial, just the act of questioning turned you into an anomaly in their eyes. The tarot reading was just the tip of the iceberg, a manifestation of how deeply they want to decode you. They're trying to see if you're truly the threat they suspect you are. They're trying to confirm if your power is real or just rumor. You've encountered condemnation, external and internal. Society might label you a dreamer, a heretic, or someone who doesn't know their place. Meanwhile, your inner critic might ask if you've gone too far. But let me reassure you, the friction you feel is evidence that you are indeed chosen. If you were not a factor in the spiritual realm, no one would care what boundaries you cross or what knowledge you uncover. The fact that people are alarmed that an entire reading was done to glean insight about you underscores how pivotal your role truly is. You've worried about God's perspective in all this. You wonder if He is displeased by your restlessness, your incessant need to dive deeper. But God's anger, if it arises, is not aimed at your quest for truth. It's aimed at the forces that try to box you in, stifle your purpose, or make you doubt. Your worth, every biblical account of chosen ones, from Moses to Esther, shows individuals who stepped out of line with societal norms, often incurring the wrath of those in power. Yet God used their willingness to question, to push boundaries, to catapult them into heroic destinies. You've reached a crossroads where crossing more boundaries can either catapult you into your destiny or leave you isolated if you do it recklessly. Sometimes stepping over the line is necessary for growth. Other times, it can expose you to needless backlash. This is where discernment becomes your shield. Don't let your curiosity drag you into traps that lead nowhere. The illusions are crumbling, yes, and that can tempt you to charge forward at full speed. But remember, your greatest moves are made when your steps are intentional. If you leap too hastily, you risk scattering your energy and losing the clarity you fought so hard to gain. You've probably felt that pang of regret when you realized you shared too much or stepped too boldly. Maybe you saw the shock in someone's eyes or felt them pull away after you revealed a truth they weren't ready to handle. That's okay. Not everyone can accompany you through every threshold you cross. Some are meant to witness your evolution from a distance, and their reactions, fear, envy, fascination, are not a reflection of your worth, but of their own limitations. You've come too far to shrink back now. Yes, you crossed boundaries, but that was part of the plan. The illusions had to be dismantled, and you had to see for yourself what lies beyond the lines that society or religion or family drew for you. God is not condemning you for your questions. He's positioning you to use the answers you find to set others free. When you do that, you align with your divine purpose. And that alignment is precisely what terrifies those who keep checking tarot decks or seeking psychics to figure out your next move. They sense you're on the verge of a monumental breakthrough, and they can't predict or control what that might mean for them. Chapter 2. Your past has been scanned by curious eyes. Your past is suddenly under scrutiny, and it's not just your neighbors or acquaintances doing the digging. Something compelled individuals, maybe those who oppose you, maybe those who secretly admire you, to consult mystical means, to flip through cards and interpret cryptic symbols that point to your history. The reading spelled out things you thought were buried, old pains, old regrets, old chapters you'd rather forget. And the shock? It's not just in discovering your secrets, but in realizing how those secrets didn't break you, but instead fueled your resilience. Your younger years might have been marked by confusion, times you felt misunderstood, abandoned, or forced to walk a lonely path. You questioned your worth, your direction, and, at some points, maybe even your sanity. Yet, through every trial, you found pockets of strength you never knew existed. The irony is that the same events you once deemed curses are now evidence of your extraordinary endurance. The tarot reading revealed a blueprint of hardship, yet also displayed the unstoppable current of grace that carried you through. Your watchers assumed that unearthing your past would grant them leverage. They planned to use your mistakes or heartbreaks to corner you, to keep you from stepping fully into your calling. But the more they dig, the clearer it becomes that your journey wasn't about collecting scars. It was about gathering wisdom. Those who consulted the cards are left reeling because they see a narrative that defies logic. You repeatedly rising above adversity, forging a faith in God that no trial could extinguish. You might be haunted by memories you never asked for, the echoes of betrayals or the heartbreak of missed opportunities. But now is the time to see them as stepping stones. Each tear you shed was an investment in your resilience. If you had known that your pain would one day be read like a prophecy of strength, would you have carried it differently? Possibly, because this new perspective is your superpower. You realize that all the times you believed you were alone, heaven was orchestrating a bigger plan, turning your defeats into testimonies. Your watchers are panicking because tarot cards can only show them fragments. They glimpse your past pain and expect you to be broken, but then they sense this unexplainable light around you. It's incongruent with the suffering you've endured. They see potential vulnerabilities that never manifested. They notice heartbreak that should have destroyed you, but instead sharpened your resolve. The dissonance between who you've been and who you're becoming is what keeps them awake at night. Because if you could transcend your past so thoroughly, what else are you capable of? Your calling is to embrace this revelation. Your history is a testament, not a life sentence. The shadows that once consumed you are powerless unless you feed them. Now that others are rummaging through your backstory, you can either recoil in shame or stand in authority. A chosen one doesn't cower when reminded of past failures. They own them, transforming them into trophies of grace. And that's precisely the heart posture that confuses those who seek to expose you. They expect guilt, but what they find is liberation. You felt the sting of judgment, maybe from spiritual leaders or so-called friends who brand your past as evidence that you're unworthy of God's favor. But realize that your every step away from condemnation is an act of war against the lies that once caged you. God's forgiveness isn't doled out based on how pristine your record is. It's given because you dare to believe that love triumphs over any mess you've made. And while some might try to define you by your worst day, heaven defines you by your destiny. This cosmic vantage point trumps any human accusation. Your watchers might misunderstand the fullness of your transformation. Perhaps they see glimpses, the quiet confidence you carry now, the unwavering faith in your eyes, the calm that radiates even when chaos abounds. They interpret the tarot spread, searching for an explanation, but none of the cards can truly capture the divine metamorphosis you've undergone. Because the real story isn't written in symbols or arcane knowledge. It's inscribed in the hidden recesses of your soul, where God's hand has rewritten your narrative in ink that cannot be erased. Your past has been scanned, dissected, and laid bare. So what? Let them see it, because you're no longer a prisoner to those memories. Instead, you're a living testament that something greater than your pain has prevailed. The devil can't use your history against you once you decide to own it. The watchers can't manipulate you once you declare that your story belongs entirely to God. And that is the real shocker. No matter what revelations they glean from esoteric readings, they can't overshadow the truth of who you are today. Chapter 3. You're triggering a frenzy of unanswered questions. You're standing on a threshold that has your critics and silent observers alike in a state of chaos. The recent tarot reading about you didn't offer neat conclusions. Instead, it unearthed more questions than answers. These questions aren't just about your future or your past. They revolve around how you keep defying every limitation placed upon you. The reading hinted that you carry an energy, a light or a calling that transcends the usual boundaries of time, logic, and even fate. And now the watchers are scrambling to make sense of it. You're used to people underestimating you. Perhaps you even grew comfortable with it, finding solace in being overlooked. But things have changed. Where people once dismissed you, they now center power swirling around your presence. They can't articulate it, but they feel it. A subtle shift in the atmosphere whenever you enter a room. An inexplicable calm or spark that defies any normal explanation. Their confusion stems from the tarot's depiction of you as someone unstoppable. How can that be? They wonder. When you appear so human, so relatable, so humble, you've caused panic in circles that thrive on predictability. Institutions, families, or social circles that pride themselves on neatly categorizing people now find you unclassifiable. Their carefully curated illusions don't apply to you, and it's driving them to desperation. They thought they could solve the puzzle by consulting arcane knowledge, but all they got were half answers, pointing to your divine spark. Maybe the card spoke of a high priestess energy or indicated that cosmic forces watch over your every step. Whatever it was, it confirmed that normal rules do not apply to you. You're perceived as a threat by those who build their identity on controlling narratives. They rely on secrets and illusions to keep the masses in check. But you break illusions simply by existing, by living in alignment with a truth they cannot bend. So they question, how did you learn these secrets? How can you read between lines no one else sees? They wonder if you infiltrated their systems or spied on their private gatherings. But you never needed to do that. Your discernment isn't stolen from them. It's a gift from God, sharpened by prayer and reflection, unstoppable by human means. You're the catalyst for an awakening in others, whether you want to be or not. People watch how you handle stress and see that you refuse to let fear or bitterness define you. They notice the peace you carry in storms, the wisdom in your words that resonates even when you speak simply. Like a magnet, you draw out the hidden yearnings in others, the longing to break free from mindless routines and discover their higher purpose. The tarot reading confirmed that your impact will keep growing, sowing seeds of transformation everywhere you go. That's why the watchers are unsettled. Once awakened, people become immune to manipulations that used to be effective. You've likely felt the weight of this responsibility. There are moments when you'd prefer to fade into the background, let someone else carry the torch. But the call on your life isn't optional. The God who chose you also equipped you for this exact season. Your gentle presence can topple carefully erected power structures because those structures rest on deception, and deception crumbles in the face of authentic light. It's not about you starting revolutions. Sometimes it's as simple as you speaking a truth no one else dares to voice. That alone can cause an earthquake in hearts that were previously asleep. You're witnessing the meltdown of those who banked on you, remaining oblivious or powerless. They can't undo the tarot reading. They can't unsay the words that declared your unstoppable ascent. They're left trying to damage control a situation that is purely spiritual. And all their tactics, spreading rumors, sowing doubt, fall flat. Because once a divine stamp is placed on your journey, no rumor can override it. Even if some people distance themselves, your core resonance remains intact. You are chosen, set apart to carry a message that can't be silenced. You're also stirring curiosity among those who aren't part of any negative agenda. They sense your authenticity, and they come with genuine questions. How did you gain such insight? Where does your strength come from? In these instances, your role is to point them upward, to the God who has guided you through every trial. This is your chance to share your testimony without fear. Your story, raw and unfiltered, speaks volumes to those who only know how to see the world through illusions. And as they awaken, they too might face tarot readings or conspiracies, but they'll be anchored in a truth that stands firm. Chapter 4. You feel the tension between curiosity and caution. You're trying to navigate a space where curiosity and caution intersect. On one hand, you sense there's more to uncover about your own gifts, about the illusions that shape society, about the spiritual current swirling around you. On the other hand, you've seen how certain knowledge can distort or inflate egos, how obsession with secrets can lead people astray. So you stand at a crossroads wondering just how far you should delve into the mysteries that are calling your name. You've likely caught yourself hesitating. Maybe you sense an urge to research topics you once avoided, or you feel drawn to people who carry esoteric wisdom. The tarot reading about you has awakened a sense that there's an invisible realm with threads leading directly to your destiny. But you also remember how some individuals lose themselves chasing after hidden truths, forgetting the God who remains the ultimate source of all knowledge. That tension is real, and it demands a balanced approach. You're grappling with a question: am I crossing a line if I explore these deeper realms, or am I fulfilling a calling to shed light in dark places? The answer isn't always black and white. Spiritual maturity involves discernment, knowing when to press in and when to set boundaries. Certain practices or corners of the occult might appear harmless, but can open doors best left shut. Others might be legitimate paths to deeper understanding, especially when guided by the Holy Spirit. The watchers who got that tarot reading about you are dabbling in mysteries they barely comprehend, hoping to glean insights about your path. But your destiny isn't pinned down by their methods. Be careful not to repeat their mistakes by diving into knowledge that feeds curiosity but starves faith. Your caution isn't a sign of fear, it's a safeguard for your calling. If you sense that God is leading you into realms of knowledge that defy conventional understanding, proceed with humility. The moment you start believing you can control or manipulate these forces is the moment arrogance creeps in. It's how individuals with genuine spiritual gifts can veer off track, forgetting that every revelation comes with an accountability to use it for good. You've possibly felt external pressure too. Maybe someone close to you is urging you to embrace certain practices wholeheartedly. They see your potential and assume you should claim every spiritual avenue as your own. Conversely, you might have others warning you that any step beyond mainstream religion is dangerous. In these conflicting voices, you find yourself alone, forced to chart a path that resonates with your personal relationship with God. The watchers may watch, but only you can decide how you steward your curiosity. You're in a pivotal stage of internal refinement. The tension you feel is an invitation to deepen your prayer life, to strengthen your connection with the divine. It's not about rejecting every new insight, nor is it about swallowing every mystical teaching wholeheartedly. God can speak through various channels, but he never violates his own character. If something you learn leads to confusion, despair, or an unhealthy obsession, it's likely not from him. In contrast, when knowledge brings clarity, peace, or a deeper love for truth, you can sense his fingerprints all over it. You're starting to realize that curiosity itself is a divine gift. Your yearning to break free from superficial explanations about life is precisely what sets you apart. It's what the watchers recognized in you, that unquenchable thirst for hidden wisdom. However, The difference between you and them is that they rely on man-made or occultic tools to glean partial truths while you aim for revelation aligned with God's heart. That's why your pursuit won't evolve into spiritual chaos. Your anchor is a relationship, not a ritual. You're invited to see your curiosity as a vehicle to help others, not just a personal quest for secret knowledge. If you glean insights from spiritual experiences or from the corners of theology that others avoid, how can you use them to uplift those still trapped in illusions? Every time you learn something new, ask, how does this serve my community? How does it serve my calling to be a beacon of hope? This question ensures your journey remains grounded in love and service, protecting you from pride or elitism. You are right now forging a new template for how chosen ones can walk between worlds, grounded in faith but open-minded, discerning but not fearful, curious but not reckless. The Watchers try to paint you as an enigma because they can't categorize someone who balances caution and curiosity so effortlessly. They're used to extremes, either blind belief or total skepticism. You exist in a space where you trust God above all, yet remain open to the vast expanse of His creation. This middle way is where genuine miracles and revelations unfold, leaving onlookers stunned. Chapter 5. Your hidden gifts are becoming too obvious to hide. Your once private gifts are now shining in ways you can't conceal. Maybe you never sought attention, serving quietly, or keeping revelations to yourself. Yet events, possibly fueled by that tarot reading, have spotlighted abilities you once hid. People notice your uncanny timing, your capacity to bring calm to chaos, or your talent for uncovering truth no one else sees. You've reached a point where downplaying your gifts no longer works. You worry about how society might respond. You've seen it idolize or crucify those who stand out. You never craved either. You just wanted to fulfill your calling in peace. But destiny rarely respects comfort zones. At critical moments, your words diffuse conflict, or your very presence shifts the atmosphere. Such power can't remain hidden. The Watchers are more intrigued than ever, hinting that you possess some sixth sense or angelic protection. Their speculations miss the true source. Divine alignment. Where outsiders see magic, you see a life yielded to God's plan. You grapple with humility, wary of becoming a self-aggrandizing performer. Instead, you let your actions speak, acquiring a dignity that fascinates others even more. They are used to show-offs or manipulative figures. In you, they see a humble authority that defies their expectations. You've realized these gifts aren't random. Each one serves a higher blueprint. If you can heal, it's to mend bodies and hearts. If you're prophetic, it's to offer clarity amid deception. The Watchers perceive only the spectacle, but you recognize the deeper truth. Your abilities are for serving others, not entertaining them. Whenever you try to hide, your gifts resurface spontaneously, often in pivotal moments. A single sentence alters a meeting's direction, or a gentle insight reshapes someone's life. Each instance humbles yet reminds you, your gifts were never meant to remain concealed. Some friends may distance themselves out of jealousy or discomfort. They might call you too deep or dismiss your abilities as coincidence. That doesn't automatically mean you're at fault. Many simply aren't prepared for your level of light. Meanwhile, your authenticity can plant quiet seeds in those who initially resist you. You answer to God's calling, not shifting human opinions. All this tests your readiness. As your gifts emerge publicly, your character must keep pace. Pride lurks when you realize how uniquely you're set apart. Strangely enough, even skeptics can help keep you humble by challenging your motives. God uses all of it, praise, criticism, doubt, to refine you so you steward your gifts responsibly. You now sense a turning point. The anonymity you once knew won't return. New doors will open, leading to your greatest impact yet. Let the Watchers speculate, the curious inquire, and the critics doubt. The divine current flowing through you can't be dammed by skepticism. As your gifts blaze forth, they'll guide not just your path, but also the paths of those you're destined to heal, inspire, and uplift. Chapter 6. You're forced to deal with their reactions, good and bad. You've noticed how people respond to your rising spiritual authority in vastly different ways. Some admire you, attributing your gifts to God's grace. Others recoil in suspicion or outright anger, accusing you of dabbling in dark practices. Still, others hover with wary curiosity, unsure of what to make of you. Wherever you go, you stir emotions that can't remain neutral. You never expected this level of public reaction. Some beg you to interpret their dreams or signs, while others accuse you of being a fraud or in league with evil. The tarot readings about you intensify their fascination. How you respond to their praise, skepticism, or hostility will shape your path. Will you hide in exhaustion or press on, allowing each reaction to refine your heart? You've learned the dangers of both validation and condemnation. When people exalt you as some spiritual savior, it tempts you to feed on human praise. But your calling isn't about self-glorification. It's about pointing to a higher power. Pride can creep in subtly, so you anchor yourself in humility. At the same time, rejection, even if painful, liberates you from seeking everyone's approval. Jesus himself was scorned and misunderstood. It's part of the territory for chosen ones. Critics can sharpen your convictions, driving you deeper into God's presence. You've noticed that those who attack you the harshest often harbor a secret intrigue. Your presence disrupts their worldview, and their aggression masks inner turmoil. Ironically, such hostility can spark their own awakening, if they dare to question what unsettles them so deeply. Not everyone who approaches you has good intentions. Some want to exploit your gifts for personal gain, cloaking their motives in flattery. Discerning who truly supports your mission becomes essential. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. It safeguards the sacredness of your calling. The demand for your insight, healing, or prophetic gifts can be draining if you don't guard your energy. Practicing self-care, mentally, physically, and spiritually, isn't self-indulgence. It's wise stewardship of the vessel God shaped you to be. Your bold walk exposes others to possibilities they haven't faced. Some are inspired to dust off old dreams they've neglected. Others feel threatened, projecting their insecurities onto you. They'd rather label you the problem than confront their own stagnation. All these reactions, admiration, critique, confusion, or manipulation, are shaping you. They push you to refine your message, clarify your vision, and rely on God's guidance. You're not here to perform for the crowd, but to fulfill a mission transcending applause or ridicule. Let their responses swell without defining who you are. You remain chosen, guided by divine wisdom, and unstoppable in the face of fleeting human opinion. Chapter 7. You are poised for a Chapter 7. You are poised for a radical season of elevation. You stand on the brink of a dramatic shift that far exceeds any tarot reading or rumor around you. Subtle but persistent signs heighten scrutiny, hidden gifts awakening, sudden spiritual breakthroughs, confirming you're about to enter a season of extraordinary elevation. Your influence, insight, and intimacy with God will soar to new heights. You're no accident here. Every heartbreak, boundary crossed, and secret exposed shaped you into a vessel capable of bearing a mantle few can hold. This season demands more than casual devotion. It calls for unwavering faith and a willingness to be misunderstood. Critics and card readers may speculate, but they have no idea how fully divine favor is about to embrace you. You've sensed previews in vivid dreams or profound moments of prayer. Those relying on esoteric tools can't grasp the scale of your ascension because it's rooted in the heart of God, a dimension they cannot fully access. Your upcoming wins aren't coincidences. They're long foretold divine appointments, even if you haven't realized it until now. You're stepping into arenas where your words will reshape mindsets, and doors once barred will open with surprising ease. The watchers suspect something grand, yet they only see fragments. You hold a full blueprint, ignited by faith. The isolation you endured and the spiritual hunger you felt were all part of your preparation. The trials you survived became training exercises, sharpening your resilience for this pivotal moment. Expect intensified spiritual warfare. Darkness prefers you remain small and silent. Distractions, emotional swings, or unusual obstacles may arise. The watchers might double down, hoping to confine you with external readings or gossip. But you have the advantage. You know who and whose you are. Daily grounding, prayer, worship, reflection will neutralize every attack. Your elevation won't be a solo climb. Anticipate divine alliances. People whose missions dovetail with yours, whose gifts complement yours, whose support paves the way. These connections transcend any tarot prediction. They're orchestrated by a synergy beyond human understanding. You'll also realize your ascent benefits more than just you. It uplifts a broader chosen family worldwide. Inwardly, you sense an even deeper metamorphosis. You notice confirmations in everyday synchronicities and feel anxiety replaced by a quiet, steadfast confidence. Where you once questioned your future, you now trust each step is guided by divine wisdom. Past battles forge a resilience that remains unshaken by scrutiny. The watchers may mistake your composure for aloofness, but it is the peace that surpasses understanding, an unshakable stillness that deflects every dart of doubt and fear. In this deep assurance, you find the strength to withstand criticism and distractions, knowing your destiny is secured by a higher hand. As you rise, you embody what it means to surrender fully to God's purpose. Systems rooted in fear and manipulation will recoil. Some will seek your guidance. Others will dismiss your success as mere luck. Remain firm in the truth that your elevation is a testament to God's faithfulness, not the result of human scheming. This clarity safeguards your heart and keeps your mission pure. Now is the moment to step forward boldly. Stop hiding your gifts or toning down your intensity. Embrace the higher calling with fearless resolve. No matter who watches or mocks, they cannot stop the blessings rushing toward you. Stand at this threshold with joy and courage. Your greatest chapters are about to unfold. If you're ready like this, subscribe and comment 77 as a sign of openness. Later, return and declare, ready for what's next, because your future is overflowing with possibilities no card can fully reveal. Embrace this divine promotion, anchored by the one who ordained it long before you could conceive it. Your transformation is unstoppable, written in the heavens, and nothing can stand in its way.